It's a big risk, especially I did a full-time MBA, quit my job, I stopped earning money.
Which methodology do you think is better?
There is no wonder that China became the factory of the world.
Did you plan for most of the moves you had?
There's discrimination between, male and female, for example.
You managed to work with different cultures, different kind of people.
It's not about leaving or staying, it's about are you making a step forward every day?
What's that one advice to people growing at an early stage in this industry and other industries? Welcome to another episode of Masters of Green, the show where we host some of the brightest minds who are shaping the renewable energy industry in the Middle East and North Africa. I am your host, Waleed AlHallaj, and today we have a dear friend of mine, Moneef Barakat from Jinko ESS. Welcome, Moneef.
Thank you, Waleed. It feels special to be at the other seat here in this podcast and to join an old friend, Waleed. Thank you for having me today.
This is going to be special because I'm going to use a lot of my personal knowledge about you as a friend and figuring out the other part of Moneef that the market maybe does not see. I think you have something very unique in your professional career, is that you worked with Americans, First Solar, ExxonMobil. You worked with German, IBVOC, TUV. You worked in the Middle East, Solarabic, and now you're working with the Chinese, Jinko ESS. So you managed to work with different cultures, different kind of people, different schools of management, professionalism, and so on. What can you tell us a little bit about this topic?
Thank you for this question. It's very interesting. Probably I did not reflect on that myself before having this session. To be honest with you, this is a privilege when your career path brings you through these different cultures. Because, we like to stereotype a lot about certain, cultures or nations, but all of them fundamentally have qualities that are impossible to feel unless you experience that like firsthand. To be honest, let's say working with corporate America gave me the privilege of being more self-confident, more agile, and more entrepreneurial within the corporation. So some people always ask the question, do you prefer entrepreneurship or working in a corporate? But you don't have to leave the corporate in order to be entrepreneurial. And that's something that typically you see in corporate America. That's why you see always most of the unicorns around the world, the biggest tech companies around the world are American companies for a reason, because there's an environment that nurtures and awards that kind of entrepreneurship. European culture is very different, but also has a lot to learn from, because let's say from my 12 years in Germany, if there's something that I have noted and appreciated a lot, is the value of becoming an SME, subject matter expert. This means that you are knowledgeable in a certain area to the way that you become the best one in your environment, in your corporate, and probably in the whole industry, in that specific, let's say, topic or niche. And this adds and brings a lot of value to you. I see plenty of people that, let's say, in Germany, that would start their career from day one and end it after, 30, 40 years, basically doing the exact same function. But because they become so expert in their domains, that they become more valuable to their organizations than their even managers or CEOs. You'd see a customer that wants to specifically speak to that person because he's the one that actually has the knowledge that they are seeking. And that's something that gives you strength, power, confidence, and the ability to self-realize yourself in the career and reinvent yourself whenever you become a better expert.
I feel in this region, maybe we don't have that a lot, unfortunately.
This is something that is actually to be improved, let's say, I hope with time in the Middle East, with the exposure more and more towards the Western culture. Why? Because in the Middle East, we have other very positive aspects. Let's say I see a lot of honesty. I see a lot of people that in the industry that are very supportive. They're genuinely interested to help you, to get you out of your trouble, because if you have a delayed shipment or a delay in a project, they would really skip nights, be with you on the site, or work very hard in order to help you. That genuine interest and support is incredible in here. People just sacrifice their own personal lives and time in order to help you without getting any first-hand benefit out of it. But the side that you have just mentioned, what is missing in here, that there is a lot of belief that the other side of, let's say, business or the other function, I would say the other field is greener. So I want to jump there. Somebody has a technical career, is an amazing, I would say, solar parks designer. Always had in mind, no, I want to go to BD or to sales because they are always in these fancy meetings and events and all of that.
And travel all the time.
Travel all the time and all of that. And then somebody who is in sales and business development would say, yeah, I would like to become a general manager or have a C-level role or become a, I don't know, CCO, CEO, whatever is that. Like that role is better. There is always this kind of zigzags in the careers of plenty of people that I think doesn't really serve them. It's just that there is less satisfaction with the current career path, and less interest to develop your own expertise. We had, I remember Dr. Waleed Barakat. He's one of my best friends and mentor in the career. And he said once that every person has to be like a T-shaped ruler that the architectural engineering guys typically hold with them in the university. And what he means by that there is in the T-shaped ruler, there's a short edge and the long edge. So the short edge, this means try to have, to know a little bit about different topics, but you have to be strong at a certain core, very, very deep roots into a certain subject matter where you become an expert. And this is where you would deliver the best value to your own career, to your organization, and to the customer base that you have.
But what about Chinese?
Chinese are amazing. Chinese are inspiring. There is no wonder that China became the factory of the world because they couldn't do that without grit. This means they are very patient, very target, let's say, oriented, and self-confident. They know that they can do it without even having a track record or success before. They know that they will get there, and they go very hard. They will do everything it takes. There's, I don't know, this perception of like Chinese products from before 20 years when we had, I don't know, Sony, Panasonic, and then there's a Chinese brand. This has changed a lot, and that's why we don't see these brands basically anywhere. And soon they are overtaking a lot of, let's say, industries like, I don't know, look to the cars today in the street.
True.
Probably more than 20% here in the UAE of the cars are Chinese cars, simply because they are very hardworking, very dedicated. They believe that they can do it. Even if they fail 1,000 times, they're ready to take that risk. They will fix it and then perfect the product that they come out with. So it's impressive, very hardworking, and also appreciates equality in the workplace, which is very unique, I would say, to the Chinese environment. For example, even in Europe, you would see, this is for sure obvious here in the Middle East, but in Europe as well, there's discrimination between, I don't know, male and female, for example. And male candidates would have a higher chance to get a certain job or to get advanced in their careers. In China, this doesn't exist. Everyone has the full privilege to reach any level in the organization and to develop their careers and to get promoted just based on their contribution to the business and to the work. And this is actually impressive. That's why when we are going in the industry, we find that most of the Chinese colleagues, not fast, like there's a good balance. There's close to 50-50 balance between male and female participants.
That's true. Taib, you said something extremely interesting about entrepreneurship and corporate, and the fact that especially the American school does not stop one for the other. You have done both. You have worked with massive corporates globally, and of course you built up Solarabic from scratch into becoming today, Solarabic has over 20 employees, around 10 countries in the region. So looking at both experiences, what have you learned from each that contributed to the other? And is there anything that you feel if you implement in your corporate life today that you learned from your entrepreneurship days will have a massive impact on the results?
I would put a very simple statement. If not my corporate career, I would have never been successful in my startup life. The main learning that I had in my life is from the corporate days of my career, simply because big corporations, especially successful corporations that actually nurture that entrepreneurship spirit within you, gives you the playground in order for you to go and do and implement any ideas that you have. We discussed and laughed about something that together before this, that we are very lucky that we are not surgeons, let's say, in this renewables industry career that we have. What this means, a surgeon probably is really worried to make a mistake on the job, because then he could lose or she could lose the patient. But for us, the worst case scenario for making a mistake, you go and fix it. Maybe you lose a little bit of time, maybe a little bit of money, but it's recoverable. But the thing is that if you would stay within the frame and not experiment anything new, it's impossible for you to actually excel in your career and also help your organization to grow and to achieve a big success. And mistakes should happen. If you are perfect at your job, you didn't do any mistakes, then there's something wrong. This means your contribution is very limited to that organization, and the career growth that you have is very limited. You have to have mistakes and feel proud about them, speak openly about them, and definitely this will build you up and make you actually progress and make your organization successful. And why is this guaranteed? There's a 100% guarantee that mistakes are good and you will not be penalized for that. Because whenever you do that, whenever you know that this should work, but you are not 100% sure, but you have all the data, all the information, you did your homework, and you go and do it, and I'm sure 9 times out of 10 times it will work. The 10th time, probably it will fail. But nobody will remember you for that failure. Everybody will remember the 9 times that you made a very difficult call in a situation of high uncertainty, and you've been successful in resolving the issue or the problem for the client, or like getting out of a certain situation, or coming up with an innovative solution that was unprecedented in the industry, and you managed to do that successfully. Without failure, you can never move forward, you can never develop your career, and you can never contribute to the success of your organization.
I agree. I remember when you were talking, I remember I did an interview a few years ago, and somebody asked me if you have figured out the success formula, and I felt that no, and I don't think anybody has a formula to succeed all the time. We have Google, who failed to create a social media platform.
Yeah.
We have Nokia failing after being #1 globally. We have BlackBerry disappearing, and so and so and so. So even if you succeed, that doesn't mean that you're not going to do mistakes, and we see that.
Yeah, sometimes, again, you have to have that kind of strength in order and confidence to do that leap of faith. If you are not doing this, I'm not saying daily, but at least once a month, you and making decisions under uncertainty, this means you are missing out. Because by the time you collect all the inputs that you need in order to make a super informed decision, there are already 2-3 people that have done that before you, and then you miss the opportunity. So always be confident, never be afraid to do mistakes, and you will be rewarded for these mistakes.
True. But Moneef, do you think you could go back to entrepreneurship again?
Yeah, if I could, yes, why not? I'd love to. I think what I'm doing now, I'm very blessed to be now in an organization with Jinko, to be able to implement what is right, what I feel is right, and to be able to break the status quo, to be able to make huge organizational changes and deliver a different value to the customers that is different to what used to be delivered to them. And I think I have a big space where I am now in order to apply entrepreneurial ideas, solutions, business structures or models where actually, and we're seeing very good, let's say, response from the market to that. Now, in the future, would I, let's say, be in a different, maybe start a new business, let's say, in the industry or a different one? Most likely, yes. Most likely in our industry, because I'm a big believer that I should do and invest in what I am best at. Yeah. For example, I wouldn't open a restaurant, yeah, simply because I have no knowledge in the F&B industry, and I don't think I can contribute much to that. So I always follow that principle. I'll do what I know I'm good at, and I will do what makes me comfortable about that, and I'll be happy to explain to my family, to my children, and feel proud about what am I doing and applying, let's say, my best principles in life in that.
Interesting. Yeah, if you read the biographies of all these successful people, but as you said, they make their massive accomplishment in their industry, and then maybe they look for diversification. But at an early stage, you do what you do right. Yani, I agree. But I want to ask you about something that's really interesting. And this topic is very unique for me because I work a lot with university students. And if we look at the CV at your career, you have worked for quite a number of corporates. You did ExxonMobil, First Solar, Jinko ESS, Solarabic, IB Vogt, TUV, and of course, many more as well. moving from one company to another is one strategy. I personally do that. I don't stay at my place for a long time. Last week we had, or last episode we had Mr. Michel from Masdar and Emerge, and he did 15 years, over 15 years at the same place, and of course it turned out to be a magnificent career. So which do you think would add more to you as a professional, number one, and which methodology do you think is better if you want to give it as an advice to young engineers growing in this sector?
My advice is simple, like don't stop. This means that if you are now in a company and you spend there, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and you are developing in there or moving, let's say, to get new challenges, let's say, every day, then I see nothing against that. And I personally, I think in average spent close to 5 years, let's say, per company, which was, I think, a long period of time where I have reinvented myself in there or got assigned to a different, let's say, product or function or department where I started something new, and it was like a fresh start within the same organization. So 15, 16 years in one organization, totally fine. Most likely he would have also changed from one function to the other.
True.
Or probably in this case from utility scale to CNI, for example. That's like totally a new job. So the company boundaries are always kind of fluffy. It's if you can start something new or add value or come to your management and tell them, hey, I think that we should be investing in this or building a team. I don't know, we're doing solar, we have to build an EV charging team in our organization. Then most likely you will get the support if you have given the right reasons for that expansion. And here you go, here's a new job, but within the same organization, and you can move forward. But if you are in the best company on the planet, and doing exactly the same thing for very long, and you are bored of it, and you wake up like you hate your job every day, then you have to be open about that with your management, if possible.
With yourself first,
and yourself, and then you have to move forward. Then it's time to change your job and go to a different employer if you can't achieve your ambitions within the boundaries of your organization. So it's not about leaving or staying, it's about, are you making a step forward every day or not?
Just a question. Did you plan for most of the moves you had, or you feel that there is a big chance element in people's career?
The first segment of my career was in oil and gas. And when I went to, I quit my last job and I went to do a full-time MBA for a year in Germany with the sole plan that I will complete this MBA and get back to the oil and gas career and like kind of progress in that career. But this didn't happen. I went into the solar industry and I learned that there are people who are providing energy to this planet, but the clean way and the good way and the most responsible way for the generations to come. And I got fascinated by that, and I totally changed my whole plan. So to pivot in your life, instead of going to option A, even though it's logical, even though you planned for it a lot, even though you spent a lot of money, time, years on that, sometimes you have to quit and you have to get out of this sunk cost fallacy. Like kind of you invested a lot into something, so definitely have to continue in that path. You don't have to. If you think that there is an opportunity today in front of you to pivot and to go and do something else, go and do it. Yeah. If you believe and you think that this will help you to realize yourself, to develop your career, to contribute more to the society, to the world, maybe to your community, then definitely I'll be very supportive of doing that.
But speaking of your MBA, because leaving your job, which you were at ExxonMobil back then, and you were working in Iraq, I'm pretty sure you used to get paid pretty well. So leaving a full-time job with such a big corporate to go do your MBA full-time is a little bit risky, no? What made you do that? And would you suggest that to people who feel they need it?
To be honest, I've been very happy with my career and with my pay, as you said. And I don't even earn today, after more than 10 years, like as much as I used to earn in that career in oil and gas. But what I can tell you today is that I reached to the point where I didn't have that satisfaction in what am I doing, and I couldn't move forward in my career because my pre-grad is in engineering. And in our engineering, when I studied, we didn't learn much about management, finance, project management. And I had that management part lacking in my skill set. So I seek advice from mentors, which is an advice for everyone. If you are, I don't know, 2 years or 5 or 10 years in your career and you don't have a corporate mentor, somebody who helps you and mentors you, please get a one. And that's something that helped me a lot, that I asked my mentors, and they all told me, you have then to go and do an MBA. I had no clue what is that. Master's in Business Administration. How can I actually do a master's in Business Administration if I'm an engineer? I didn't study business for my undergrad. But it worked. I applied. I did that blindly, trusting those that have advised me to do this. And I had an amazing experience. It was an amazing year. I learned a lot. I really managed to fill in these, let's say, gaps and understand the context of what I've been doing before, and it helped me to make the next steps in my career. You have to be ready to actually, it's a big risk, especially I did a full-time MBA. This means I quit my job, I stopped earning money, and I started spending money on an expensive business school. So all of my oil and gas savings are gone, yeah, and spending money for a long period of time without earning anything, I think is definitely challenging. But when you are confident and you know, let's say, with time, that I know what I'm doing, and I know that what's coming after that will be good for me, you go for that with confidence. I'll mention a very little story. We had somebody in the years to follow us who did an MBA in my business school, and he ran out of money after some time. So he couldn't pay his rent, he couldn't eat or drink. And but he wanted that so badly to complete the studies, so that everyone around, they just created a GoFundMe page for him. Yeah, he raised some money that he could pay his rent and eat and drink till the end of that, let's say, educational period, and then like he's having a successful year after that. So
wherever there is a will, there is a way.
Yeah, you'll find a way. Many people worked while studying. There's nothing impossible. If you want to do it, you will do it. And as we say in Arabic, tawakkal Allah, and go and do it.
We talked about Germany and the MBA there that really changed your life completely. I see it took you from oil and gas into renewables, and you became a father because of that journey in general. How did fatherhood in general affect you as a professional?
That's a very good question. It came in phases. Let me answer this way. The first phase, I didn't understand actually what happened in my life.
Like everybody, I would say.
So I continued all of these like 8 to 8 working hours. Like, okay, there's somebody was born crying the whole time, hold him for a little bit, and that's it, which is a period that I definitely regret. I wish I was more engaged into that period of time of the early days of my son. But with time, I understood the importance of being so connected, let's say, to the family, especially with children, because children learn the most in their lives from the parents and in the early days. And the more you are connected with them, the more you'll be able to help them to build their personalities, to guide them, not just in guiding them in terms of do this or do that, but give them the freedom and the safe space for them to self-realize themselves. And that's something definitely didn't come to me from the first time. Yeah, it came months after that. My wife was about to deliver while I was on a business trip in Turkey. I've been a little bit, let's say, didn't calculate the dates right, and I took that risk, which is something that definitely I wouldn't do again. I think families are there to build, to nurture. We took this responsibility to build families, bring, I don't know, children to life. So we have to be responsible for that and contribute into building a good future to them. And I think if I want to add something to that is that we have to also set an example for them. So contribute to this world, or to build careers that we'll be proud of in front of our children. So they also see us, let's say, in a very, find inspiration in us, especially in these difficult times, where children are so influenced by their phones and all of these TikToks and videos and all of that, that it's sometimes difficult to know the good from the bad, the dark from the prosperous and light. And there is a lot of fake success in there that if we would leave it to children and teenagers to decide by themselves, it's really hard. And the way to help them is not to tell them that this is good or bad again, but let them see a bright example. Help them to be successful in many things, whatever small skill that they would learn, or hobby they would learn, or a new sport that they would learn. that's a success for them, that they can build their personality based on that and not based on fake success that they could see on their phones as, yeah, unfortunately we see today.
Moneef, something I was asked once, I still don't have kids for my own, but today you have been around, you have experienced all these different cultures, lived different places. What is that one value that took you the longest, or it was expensive for you to learn, that you would love your son to grow up by?
This is the easiest question for me because I think about that all the time. The thing that I have learned the hardest way is a word from 4 letters. I didn't know it in English before. It's grit. And this is something that that took me a while to embrace it and to apply it in my own life. This means that you have to, if you believe in something or you want to achieve something, you have to try very hard. You have to be consistent and you have to be confident that you will do it, and nothing stops you. Like there will be thousands of reasons for you to drop off, but you will always, it's up to you. You will be always the person that will decide to continue or to stop. Grit is this ability to be resilient to any difficulties that you will face on your way. You move it out of the way, you focus on one important thing, which is your goal, and you go and do it. And don't let anything else distract you. It's something that I have learned throughout my life. I wasn't born with that, but I'm happy that I can apply that to my life. And I'm happy that I got rid of so much noise in my life. Noise, not just by sound. Noise are these little activities or these mini success that you do that give you a little bit of self confidence or joy, little joy there, little joy there. Actually, it wastes your time into very limited success, and then you lose the direction. Always have a main goal and have the grit in order to achieve that goal, whatever it takes, and eliminate all of the noise around you. Then the success is, inshallah, guaranteed.
Yeah. You know, very interesting, because I watched the TEDx show a couple of days ago. It's so the professor said there was a study that was done for 40 years, over 10,000 people, and they have allocated the value that brings most accomplishment into a person's life, and it's grit. It's not IQ, it's not emotional intelligence, it's not which school you were born in, it's not which race, it's not even which country. Some people think, oh, this guy is born there, so they have that. No, it's grit. It doesn't matter where.
Yeah, and if I add to it, because grit, you would have to be able to eliminate what is not useful. So you have that goal, and you are working very hard for it. And then you hear a friend in a coffee shop, oh, I made $2,000, $20,000 by trading a certain stock.
Cryptocurrency.
Yes. Okay, even mainstreams, like stocks in New York Exchange. And then like, oh, great, I also want to make $20,000. And then you start investing, learning like how to buy securities, how to sell them and all that. And you spend your whole time, even with your children, on your phone tracking the price of the stock in the United States, because it's evening time in here. You should be spending time with your family, but you are following the stock's price in the States. Or you are sitting in your office and you have one screen with work, the other screen you are tracking the movements of certain, let's say, securities. And in the end of the day, you make $5,000 if you are positive.
True.
All of that effort that you put, all of that disengagement from your life goals and your family, friends, and your daily life in order to make $5,000 in the end of the year. In best case scenario, okay, some people do more, but let's say in average you are positive, and then like this is, for me, it's noise and it's distraction. And I'm very happy that with time I managed to get rid of all of that noise and get out of this fallacy of multitasking, that I can do many different things at the same time. No, you can do multiple things, but one thing at a time. Yeah, it's even computers that they have multitasking. The processor doesn't do 2 tasks at the same time. It's just like
finishes
it's
one.
Yeah. So we don't try, like, I don't know, watching TV news because you are so worried, doing your work on an Excel sheet, and then you have a WhatsApp pop up on your screen. Somebody sent you a message.
Doesn't work.
That's a disaster. There is anyone who is actually wasting his life in unnecessary, unjustified multitasking, is losing a lot and is getting deviated from the main goal that she or he should have to pursue.
I agree. Then, Moneef, we're gonna conclude with one last question: is an advice from someone who has worked at some of the biggest companies in the world, graduating from Jamiat al-Ba'ath. So you didn't graduate Harvard or something. You started from a place and you went working for some of the biggest organizations, created companies that are multi-million dollar in revenue generation every year. What's that one advice to people growing at an early stage in this industry and other industries?
I think it's very important to keep moving forward, yeah, and embrace the situation you are in. Be happy with what you are. You were born and your parents are billionaires. Be proud of it. You were born in a very simple family that your parents were hardly buying, I don't know, food and clothes for you. Be happy with this and embrace it. Okay, this is my starting point in life, but it doesn't matter where I start. It matters where I end. Where do I reach and how much do I contribute throughout this journey? And this takes a lot of confidence to build it step by step. I started my career in a very, very simple way with an ultra low wage for an engineer. Yeah, but I had to start. I had to start somewhere. I developed, I moved forward, wherever I could move. It didn't work. I switched job. I got to another job that paid me 3 times the first salary. It's not because the second salary was great, but because the first one was too low.
That's a disaster.
And I accepted working in there because I had to start. So I feel very sorry for young, fresh graduates that are failing to start because they have super high expectations. Sometimes, unfortunately, we interview people and they really overestimate the wage that they deserve, or they think, oh, talk about very big numbers or the ability to handle certain responsibilities, while it's obvious that they are not there yet. They will be there if they go through the right path. So starting, working hard, and actually making progress every day is something very important. And it doesn't matter. If you are at an early stage in your career, please start somewhere, but in the path that will lead you where you want to be. I want to be there someday. And today there's a decision to take this average job or internship. I don't like it, whatever. But could it be a stepping stone to get there? If yes, go ahead. If it is totally irrelevant to your life and career goals, then obviously don't do it. And if it is immoral or against your principles, also please don't do it, yeah, because you will regret that. Now, once you start right and you develop every day and you learn every day, definitely we are in an information jungle nowadays. There are so many of these free courses. Forget about courses. I think courses will be obsolete soon with AI. Ask him any question, and then AI answers you immediately. You don't understand? Hey, walk me through, how did you do this? Okay, then you would understand. You would learn a skill, and today it's impossible to say that I cannot do this because I don't have information or I don't have money. You don't need that because everything is there at an abundance.
True.
And if you're at an advanced stage in your career and you're in your job, I don't know, for 20, 30 years, you're either doing great or maybe you are stuck somewhere, then this means that there's something wrong. Question yourself why. Ask the others, people that you trust, people that are successful, in your opinion, ask them for an advice. And many people, you will be surprised how helpful they are in order to help you with that. Even if you are, I don't know, I've seen people, 45 years old, something changed in an organization, they report to a new manager that is 30 years old, 15 years old, younger than them.
Yeah.
Then they become demotivated. They believe that they have to have that position and they earned it simply because of experience. But once you see that happening, you have to do 2 things. One, seek just feedback and understand an explanation why this happened. Learn what you have to improve in yourself. And 2, embrace it. Because that lady or guy who came to become your manager has something that the management sees in them that is definitely something to learn from. Learn from them, because nowadays it's not about age and numbers, it's about skills and the ability to be up to date with the advancements in technology and the industry in general.
True. Well, Moneef, thank you very much. This has been brilliant. I'm pretty sure I'm going to remember a lot of the things that we have discussed. It's a great pleasure for us to have you here. We at Solarabic, again, thank you for years of service for this company to reach the place it is today. And we are extremely happy and excited to have you here with us. And we look forward to always stay in touch with you in the upcoming stage with webinars, with sessions, with interviews to learn more and more about you and your journey. Thank you very much. Shukran لك.
Thank you, Waleed. I appreciate it. Thanks for the invitation today. Always happy to be here in my first home in Dubai, Solarabic's office. I'm very happy for the advancements in here and the success that you're having under your leadership now, Waleed, and wishing you all the best. And I hope that this was a good and informative session for everyone.
Brilliant one. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all for your time as well. This has been brilliant, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode, inshallah.